You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith Johnson.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AFTERBUZZ TV's Vegas After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Vegas After Show.
Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, AfterBuzzers. Welcome to Season 1, Episode 11, Paiutes of first season of Vegas, CBS. I'm your host, Thaddeus Massey. Vegas for doing, that's what we're doing. I'm with my buddies here. We're here to go over the show for another week. Loving it. Introduce yourselves.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Okay. Nick Perdue.
You guys didn't see that, but he did like the Michael Jackson back and forth head thing. Hee hee.
That's all I got.
Bamm Ericsen.
Bamm Ericsen, Nick Perdue. Alex Salem couldn't be with us.
He's in
this
spirit.
evening.
He's here in spirit.
He's here in spirit. He's
Hi, Alex.
doing big things right now. We can't speak on it, but he'll let us know what he'll let you guys know. Yeah, it's a little project. You know, Alex is always doing something.
Always has his hand in the skin.
Yeah, Seth Rogen Jr. So this week we get to talk about a little banker justice, but we'll get into the banker justice. We've been going on rancher justice,
Mob justice.
a little bit of mob justice, not too much mob justice, just a little bit. But this week is banker justice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this week's episode started off with a flash forward.
Yeah.
Or
it was like
actually,
real
it was
time.
real time, but then they went back.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
we see Ralph Lamb get clocked over the back of the head. So I guess a 10-gallon hat doesn't really protect you from a club.
No.
You would think it would prove some cushion or something, but it really didn't. He just knocked him out cold.
With that blunt object.
Right, with a blunt object. So then you go to like 58 hours earlier.
Which is kind of weird. 58 hours is a
I don't
little
know,
awkward.
58 hours. They decided
Yeah.
to pick an odd number, probably something that we would remember.
And which we did, because
did.
it wasn't 24, it wasn't 48, it was 72, it was 58.
That's like
58
10 hours.
Yeah.
That's almost 2.5 days.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's just 2.5 days shy.
And then it went to 58, then to 56.
Yeah, like all this happened in 2 hours. But we'll get into that.
Yeah, but what I would like to say starting off is that the writers did a really good job this week.
They did.
And the show was really
writers.
good. I'd have to say, for me, this was the best episode so far. I just want to go there and say that starting off the bat, because there was so much going on, but it wasn't like frivolous and it wasn't filler stuff. It was a lot, and everything kind of related to everything else. I think every episode should be like this if they could possibly do it.
There was more meat.
Things that didn't relate to each other kind of came back around, and I think it really had a lot to how they structured the show this week, starting off with the real time and then flashing back.
I agree. This is the best episode for me as well.
By far.
Yeah, it was definitely good. I mean, there was a lot that went on, a lot that happened, a lot of things that we've been waiting to happen. One thing that did annoy me, character-wise, was how this guy comes in with his wife with the shotgun on Dixon. This is something that I would think was kind of comical in the beginning when they showed
when we first met
Dixon running out of the house.
Yeah.
And he was with somebody's wife. To me, it's like this guy has a serious character flaw now. I mean, we're in the middle of the show. He's already been he's the womanizer. We get it. This guy comes into the police station, sawed off shotty, and then the music they were playing was making like light of the situation. The dude's not gonna shoot him. He's supposed to be fat, comical, Porky Pig looking dude. His wife was a little sexy, and then later on,
Fred and Margie.
Fred and Margie, that was their names? Fred, it was Fred. Fred and Margie. I didn't really like how Ralph's character
concluded it
like, like basically inferring that Margie gets around.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right. I believe he said something along the lines of, hey, listen, you love your wife. Your wife just so happens to love
a lot of people. That's exactly what she said.
Yeah.
I mean, that's exactly what Ralph said.
Yeah.
So he was calling her a hoe without saying she's a hoe.
Right.
So
that kind of made it okay for his son to sleep with somebody. I mean, I guess he didn't want his son's head to get blown off too at the same time.
Here's the thing. Now I'm gonna play devil's advocate for 2 seconds, okay?
Okay.
And I'm gonna lean on Dixon's side because I mean I don't advocate messing around with the happy home with the married woman.
It wasn't a happy home.
But married women don't require a lot of time, and Dixon's a busy kid, so he can get in, get out, wham bam, thank you, Mrs. So and so. So I don't necessarily blame him for going the married woman route, but it's not what you're supposed to do.
I do not approve of this commentary whatsoever.
I have to jump
Nicholas Perdue. And you guys can comment this guy at the Nick Perdue if you guys want to comment on that.
I have to jump.
Married women.
Oh,
you
here
hit
you
me.
go.
I have to jump on Nick's side. You guys remember the movie Patrick Dempsey, Loverboy, when he was pimping all those married women? Like, for a young boy, how old is Dixon's character?
Let's say like 23, 24, 25. Let's
And
give him that age.
And it's the 60s. There's not a lot
Maybe
of
his early 20s, yeah.
There's not a lot of young girls around, and he's a sheriff, and so to women they think that's sexy. Like, you can't blame him. I'm just saying from his perspective, from a young boy, and you got all these old women throwing themselves at him, and housewives, and
husband's not treating them right.
I can't blame him for not wanting to lay the pipe for all these women.
In fact, he's doing them a service. Mm-hmm. He's helping them out. He's like, listen, I understand your husband's not plowing the field the way he was supposed to plow it, so let me come in with my gardening service, and I'll make sure that your crops grow exponentially. I got that miracle grow for you. That special formula. Anyways, let's
on a roll tonight. Nick was funny. Okay,
it's not right, but it happened. But
I understand.
There's no but for Thaddeus. Okay, there's no but. He should not be doing that. His dad should have been harder. I think he should have brought it up somewhere later on.
Hold on, but wait. But is it Dixon's fault or is it the married women's fault for allowing this to happen?
No. See, we're not invested in these other characters. The people that we're invested in is Dixon and Ralph and that whole side of the story. So for the fact that one of the characters we're invested in almost get his brains blown off because he's doing something he really obviously on a whole nother level should not be doing.
I mean, but if it's like a moral issue, then
No, that is. Let me jump on your side now. His dad Ralph is so hard on him on other situations, him being a cop and him not going out into the field, but yet he wants to now protect his little boy.
Yeah, well, there's a gun in his face.
Yeah,
but
I mean, he has to.
I understand that, but the way he went about, the way he went about and did that, it is like he's offending his boy, and it's like, where was the talks like he normally does as a dad and say, this is wrong, and like there should have been something. He's got on his case about other situations. This would have been the time, maybe later on when it was just one-on-one, where he wants to pull him to the side and say, this is not something that you want to do. Just like he condemned it, just like he condemned his brother for sleeping with the other side. So why would he not? Why would he not say anything to his son about sleeping with married women?
And just saying we're going to talk about this later is not good enough. And then he sends him, after he gets Fred to put the gun down, he sends him to take them home. Is that the wisest thing to do?
Well, because Fred wasn't going to shoot him.
Yeah.
Okay, let me tell you something. Crime's a passion and no joke. This dude's hands could have turned to deadly weapons.
That's true.
Plus, he's bigger than Dixon. And then Dixon, not being in a rage, knowing he's wrong, we could probably get the life squeezed out of him. I'm just saying.
Yeah, no, because I know.
I'll have a deputy. I'll take another deputy
crazy.
and tell a deputy drive them
someone
home.
who's not related to
that's not wise.
that
just doesn't make any sense.
But You know what's wise?
Tell me, Bamm malicious.
What's wise is for all of you fans out there watching and listening, make sure you guys go to iTunes, download, rate, comment, tell a friend, tell many people that you know. Get us in the top 10.
Yes.
Get us in the top 10. We're begging, pleading you. Please get us in the top 10. Pass it around. Tell everybody. Tweet to everyone about iTunes. And so also don't forget about the podcast app. And what that does is it organizes all of your subscriptions to the various great shows that we have here on AfterBuzz TV, which I believe we have over 50 shows. So there's a lot of great subscriptions to all the shows that we have here. So subscribe to that podcast as well as subscribe to Vegas.
Including Deception, which we do now.
Yeah.
On Tuesdays at 6 p.m. And
Scandal.
I believe you do Scandal.
90210 and Castle.
And all your other favorites that you enjoy.
Yeah.
Exactly. So moving on in the show, let's go on to this high stakes gambler guy.
Hold on.
Hold on, what?
Can we? Because I know we talked about it really quick. Because I know Bamm touched on it.
Mm-hmm.
Mia, and where do we find Jack when we first saw Jack?
You want to jump to that?
Because he just Bamm just touched on it really briefly.
He did touch on it. He did.
So let's just let's kind of talk about that really quick and then go into the high stakes gambling because you know. He was in the bed,
Shirt
almost
off.
stark naked. He could have been stark naked when we first saw him and they kind of, wiggled some pants on.
Right.
But, he was shirtless, right?
Flexing the obliques a little bit.
Yeah, and he saw that. I was like, this dude worked out for this one. He was like, yo, I'm shirtless. Okay, let me get in the gym real
Doing
quick.
push-ups in between takes.
So, and that wasn't, what was,
Mia?
No, Rizzo. Steve.
No, that wasn't Steve.
That wasn't.
That
Steve.
wasn't our stuntman, Steve Rizzo. No, it was not.
That was Jason O'Mara.
Right.
But yeah, so it just kind of jumped to that, and they were just like had finished,
lovemaking for the night. But for me, it was like weird because I was like, whoa.
Yeah, it was smack dab right there.
When did we miss? I would have liked to see.
They can only show so much on CBS.
Help us out. No, I mean, I would have liked to have seen, not at least
kind of like the
them.
build-up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Especially with a love story
like theirs.
Exactly, because they're like the
Romeo and
Juliet of the show.
I feel like this entire episode kind of jumped 2 or 3 notches.
It did.
Yeah.
It took it to the next level.
I mean, totally. And so
I'm glad.
We're halfway in
glad.
the season though,
Yeah.
so I'm thinking they probably figured like let's take it up another level. They probably put the season out in acts. If we got like about 20 some odd episodes, we're a little bit over the first act portion. So what 11? Yeah, we're a little bit over the first act portion of the show.
yeah, agree.
So we're probably it has to start getting juicy.
But we've said that we were waiting for more. I mean, yeah, it's the 6th season, and women weren't as fast, supposedly, or whatever.
No. So, that's a myth.
I said supposedly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and
I want to put it out there.
Okay,
We
and
know,
so
we know how many of you guys were conceived in the back of some 1968, 1954 Chevy, Bel Air, Buick, made out of steel. Okay. Get that out of my system.
okay, so Dixon and I'm not sorry, but Jack and Mia got it in. So
They
now
got
let's
it.
talk about how their relationship went from the bed to now working together on the
Which
opposite
wasn't
sides.
really awkward because
It
I
wasn't.
thought that it may, because sometimes after you do the do and then you got to go to a working environment, to your relationship, especially when you're not like
That's
coworkers,
Right.
Like it can be a little weird, but like they were both professional, and of course.
And
Well, here's the thing: they don't work in a structured environment where they
That's
punch
true.
a clock. They're both bosses on the job. So to
That's
speak.
true.
So
They
kind of do what
it's a little looser.
like their job description has a lot to do with their own judgment and how they see fit to do what they need to do.
Yeah.
And also because obviously he loves her, which will be revealed for next week. He loves her, so he's willing to do anything to help her out, even though she's on the other side.
That's serious.
Yeah.
We'll get to that though.
He got his nose wide open, boy.
Oh my God. He dropped the three big bomb words.
Yeah.
But that's coming up next week. So yeah, it was real interesting seeing that they finally hooked up, and I guess the writers were thinking like, look, they obviously would have hooked up at this point. Let's just go ahead and make that happen, and let's see where the relationship will go.
Yeah.
Once that has happened and the relationship has been consummated and solidified, and we're taking it to the next level.
But I mean, is it official yet? Like,
yes, pretty much.
I mean, they've officially slept together.
Yeah, but I mean, that's just sleeping because like you can argue official though.
But I
she's
think
only officially sleeping with him. She's not a hoe.
No,
and
I
know, but like, are they together though?
Yeah, because back in those days, like if a woman
go with me now, is that what it is?
Yeah, once you sleep together, I'm kind of in those days like you were together, and then the fact that the siblings,
I own you.
I don't subscribe to that. I think that's a myth. I think there were,
booty calls back then.
I think all that existed.
I mean, there's always been.
I
booty
think
calls.
it's all these things that happens now has always existed. The difference is we're more okay with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well,
now
it's more
and it's
accepted.
It's more accepted. It's more in your face now, publicly accepted, socially accepted. There are certain things that happen. Yeah, but what I'm saying is it's always happened. Yeah. It's always existed.
Well, I do
think.
So
I don't think that she might. Me personally, this is Thaddeus. I don't think. I don't think that she's sold on this relationship yet, like he is.
Yeah, I don't think that she feels that she's his girlfriend. Now, I think he may feel that, like, he's her boyfriend.
I disagree because she showed up to the hospital.
No, that's the right thing to do. She just found the dude in the ditch, and that's his brother. She's doing the right thing. Mia, you got to remember, Mia is a sophisticated, educated, intelligent woman who's a boss at her job. To understand a woman who thinks like that, you have to see, like, okay, well, she has feelings for Jack. And in a perfect world, she'd probably run off with him in a perfect world. But she understands the complexities of this situation, I think, more than Jack wants to recognize. Even though Jack is aware of it, I think Jack cares less because Jack was the state champion in shotguns, and he doesn't care. He's a rancher. Love is love, and they'll be together, blah, 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 blah.
But they toyed back and forth with each other about the whole what's your angle. What's your angle? Like
she's the one that brought that up, not forget.
Yeah, she did.
See, she thinks like that. She thinks on a whole.
But see,
she's a city slicker.
Here's the thing. I think the only thing that's holding Mia back is that she's afraid. Like, she's still scared of, like, okay, if I fully commit to this, like, what would this mean? Like, what would this do to the Savoy? What would this do? Because they know who my daddy is. Like, what would the repercussions be if we go ahead and take that step and I say this is my man? Well,
that's my point, Nick. She's thinking about the complexities of the situation.
Yeah.
So, and to me, in her mind, she hasn't fully committed to this yet because she's strong. No matter what the surrounding circumstances are, her dad being the crazy Johnny Rizzo or whatnot or whatever, she's still the kind that once she's made that commitment, will stand up for her situation.
Yeah,
this is my man.
She'll be in it.
Dad, you got to
ride or die.
But she hasn't taken it there yet emotionally.
Yeah.
And this is the reason you haven't gotten this out of her. She'll sleep with. She's going to continue to sleep with Jack. She'll sleep with Jack, and Jack is going to fall for her. I think, obviously, as we saw coming up.
He's already whipped.
He's whipped. He's whipped.
Yeah.
He's whipped. Jack, I mean, I would be whipped too. She's hot.
Okay, I can
I'm
get
whipped right now.
I can get with that. So let's go into now.
Sarah Jones, ACU too.
Let's
real person, real life.
Amy Garcia.
Amy and Sarah come beat us. Okay.
So now let's go into them, me and Jack working together.
Okay.
For the high stakes gambler.
Okay.
That was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So this nobody out of nowhere comes and I guess he's winning some big games on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, playing high stakes poker, correct?
Correct.
And then he decides that
let's take it up a notch.
Let's just take it up a notch, and the stakes weren't high enough and big enough for him in the floor. So he sets up his own private game in a suite upstairs, in his own private personal suite. Okay, sets up a room, and he's playing with the best guys in town. Yeah. And these are some of the best guys in the game, period, because the best guys in Vegas would be probably the best
in
guys.
the country, probably.
Probably the best guys in Atlantic City, the best guys in Monaco, the best guys where they gamble anywhere where gambling is worth gambling.
Mm-hmm.
So he's beating these guys.
Yeah. He's not just beating, he's whooping on them.
He's whipping on them.
Yeah.
So it's a little fishy. And you got to think that you're starting to beat a casino. It's mob run. They're losing money.
Yeah.
And even if it's legit, they're going to be PO'd. And, like, what is the dude? This dude is – he's not even a seasoned gambler.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well,
So-
and that's the reason why I was so that's the reason why I was so suspicious. Is because
Well, Mia wanted to do her homework on the guy.
Yeah.
She's like, let's find out who this person is
exactly.
first. Before I jump to conclusions, let's see if anybody's heard of him. What's his name? Okay, let's see.
And so she goes to her boo thing
Yes.
and asks if
Her
he
little
could.
jump off.
She actually went to the station.
She went to the station.
Right, she went to the
Yeah.
station.
Looking for
and asked Jack to do investigation and find out who he is. And then
Right.
from there, she asked him to be a part of the, I don't know, not a heist, but she asked him to be a part of the
ring.
Yeah.
Or the
game.
It's not like
No,
a backdoor
She
card
did
game.
not ask him.
Yeah, he
offered. And she didn't really want him. She was reluctant to
You're
allow
right.
him
Yeah.
to join.
Mhm.
And
But he says he's a
says
seasoned player.
He's a seasoned player, and
Yeah.
he's been known to shuffle a card or two in his day. That's not what he said, but basically that's what he was alluding to.
Mhm.
And she's like, "Oh my gosh, like really? This is the kind of situation where well, he had to convince her. Basically, he had to tell us like, look, I can spot a liar a mile away. I'll be able to pick up things about this guy
Yeah.
just from
But I gotta
sitting in on the game. I'll be
Yeah.
able to tell
Yeah.
what's going on." And he comes and joins. Now that tells me, okay, she lets this guy convince her of this, even though it's like, okay, what could it hurt for one? Secondly, he might be able to tell. I mean, he does have a good point. He is a cop. He can tell when, people are being shady. And third, that showed a little bit of the emotion she had for him, allowing him to come and have fun with that situation, because that was something that was really. That's not any kind of invested interest for them. That's not going to stop the planes from flying over the west of the ranch.
Well, he was,
or solve a murder. It was something that was
above and beyond the call.
right.
It
It was something he was doing in
For
a matter
her,
for her.
really.
To,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was one of those things where this is my opportunity to impress my girl.
That's basically
It
what
had
it was.
nothing to
Yeah.
do with
Yeah.
nothing to do with anything else.
He just wanted to flex a little bit, you know what
Yeah,
I mean?
yeah.
Like, and no, and see, and 'cause, like,
And he
I
did.
think this is what it really was, is that he wanted to kind of show her that I can step into your world and handle myself.
Right.
I think that's really kind of what it was,
That's a good
because
point.
she said, like, because I know, like, these card players, like, the best card players, period. Now, you may have played, with your ranchers or whatever, but these guys are the truth.
Right.
And he was saying, well, listen now, some of these ranchers on lunch break, these are like some of the best cheats, for
Right.
whatever. So,
Right.
he has his I had no idea. It just slipped out of my head. Wow, I was about to say.
And so when he and then
We're there with you. Our
Yeah.
audience.
There you
there
go.
with him.
and so let's talk about what happens once he's there at the table.
He wins.
What's funny to me is I did notice.
3 of a kind.
I did notice how everybody else who were the best card players were not even
In the game.
in the
Yeah.
game anymore, which was really funny. So Jack is one-on-one
Showdown.
with this guy Hal Watley, and now he got a little bit of information out of him by having small talk,
Yeah.
which is the information that it eventually
Led to
helped saving Ralph's
yes,
life.
yeah.
So at the end of the day, it did help him going
Yeah.
in there, playing. He won.
Mhm.
Won some money, and Mia, I think she was
She was
amused.
impressed.
She was amused by that.
I
Right.
think she was impressed a little bit.
Yeah, she had to be.
Yeah.
Anybody who wins some money, especially in the caliber in which she had elevated these guys and put them on that pedestal in her mind, and then her man comes out on top, she has to give him his props.
Yeah.
She has to.
I'm sure she gave him a little more than props.
He's
but,
not all rancher. I'm not all rancher, baby. Know what I'm saying?
So-
I mean,
But now, okay, now how was he cheating? because I've never seen this before in like the way that they did. I haven't seen it in any other like Vegas type show or any type of card show or any type of movie.
He was in. Okay, the guy. What I was confused about was how they even find out this guy was in there. They didn't really touch upon that. They just walked up in the room, said "Do not disturb," walked in and caught the dude.
Yeah.
Besides that, what he had some kind of
buzzer device.
No, looking some kind of device where they set up something in the room where he was able to see into the room.
Yeah.
And see, he had little things.
They were like
set up
like little metal rods.
Well, he had one metal rod, but he had like a little cone, like a cone type of metal
which was kind of like a lens that was built into the floor, and then he had like a telescope,
and he was able
to plug into
exactly. And then he from seeing what the hands were, he was Morse coding the hands of the different players to Hal Wadley. The guy was cheating, so he had somebody in on it with him, obviously, and that
was his spotter.
That was his spotter.
Literally, that was his. Because that's where spotter comes from.
Right.
That's where,
And so he got busted.
Yes, he did.
Jack busted him after they got the information they got. Now, before we get further into the Hal Wadley situation with Jack, I want to jump over to a little earlier in the show when Savino confronted Johnny Rizzo about the $275,000 that was missing from the bank loan. Now, this bank loan money was specifically for the development of the tumbleweed.
Yeah.
Which they were supposed to develop the tumbleweed, get it ready, so they can actually start
making
some money.
Yeah.
Right? The only other person, as soon as they said the money was gone, I was like, oh, Johnny Rizzo. He's the only other person that would have access to that.
Yeah.
Besides the banker. Well, the banker flexed on Savino first.
Actually, I thought that possibly the bank had been robbed, and that was just me thinking because of what had happened in the beginning of the episode, where Ralph got clocked over the head. So I'm thinking now, okay, he got robbed, and then they just robbed the bank. So I was off on what happened.
To me, there was no way it could have just been the bank getting robbed.
I didn't think that either.
Because the manner in which he walked in. He said, "You guys, blah 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 blah," and that would have had to been authorized to go on a strong arm robbery on that level. That's kind of major.
I mean, inside job.
It was definitely inside. I mean, the money, they got access to the money. They don't have to go rob it.
Yeah, I mean, you're still robbing.
He wasn't. I mean, he was, but he wasn't.
Yeah.
He wasn't supposed to take the money, so he confronts him. He confronts Johnny about it, and Johnny tells him what, Bamm?
I don't remember.
Johnny tells him, what did Johnny tell him exactly?
Basically, I don't remember verbatim, but I know Johnny was saying something to the effect that where basically the tumbleweed was his, so he was thinking, this is mine, and the money, like anything that has anything to do with the tumbleweed is mine. So I'm gonna do with the money with what I see fit.
Right.
Even though they needed that money, or that money was already kind of allocated towards the groundbreaking, which was gonna be next week.
Right.
And then so all this happened, and so Savino's going like, dude, like
he's like, dude, we got to pay that money back.
Yeah.
We got to put the money back.
Because it needs to look legit with everything.
Exactly.
That they're doing.
And Vincent is trying to establish a legitimate relationship with this banker.
Yeah.
And
because I feel like the banker
money.
took a chance.
He did take a chance. And that whole thing was part of the whole thing. Now he feels kind of bamboozled.
Yeah.
And Johnny said he took half the money, sent it back home, took the other half and invested it, put it on the street.
Yeah.
For investment.
Yeah.
So Vincent is like flexing on Johnny, but Johnny is basically like, remember your place, dude. You're not running this show over here. We'll put it back. He said, well, I got to answer to the banker.
Exactly.
And Johnny says, I'll take care of it. He said, there's a problem. Tell him that I'll talk to him. I'll deal with it.
Yeah.
And then Vince is like, whoa. I know. What do you mean take care? Like how you take care of it? He said, well, what do you think that means? What does that mean? What do you mean? You're not the only person. Then later on, he references, Johnny references to Vince, and you think you're the only person who can go straight around here?
Yeah. Yeah.
But at this point, it's kind of like,
you're not gonna go straight. Yeah.
You're not. Yeah. Or he's the only person that's gonna go straight around here. Just because you can go straight doesn't mean you're gonna go straight, Johnny.
Exactly.
You're a dirtbag.
You're crooked.
You're right.
You're just crooked.
You're a crooked dude.
Yeah.
I don't think he's a douchebag like I did before, though. He's just of that nature.
He's douche-ish.
They wrote him in right. They wrote him in to make a point. The writers knew that they were going to get rid of Angelo, and Johnny was going to be the menace. He's like Dennis the Menace from the Mafia, 50 years old. Seriously, dude, this guy he's something else. So he takes an associate out to, I guess they apparently flattened the banker's car tire.
Yeah, well, and because they were following him basically.
Gave him a slow leak. They gave him a slow leak.
Yeah.
So they'd have to, he'd have to pull over, and Johnny goes and has a talk with the banker. Says hi to his wife Maureen. Hi, is that little Adam? He's finishing first grade now, right? Banker's attitude, demeanor completely changes. He's like, okay.
Seriously.
Like, really, dude? Okay.
I mean, but he didn't do anything. He just let him know that
That's
I know
enough.
your family. That's basically what it is. He was like, I know your family.
When you haven't been formally introduced and you're going around talking about people's family.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying. Like,
Because
he didn't do anything. In fact, he even helped him, and gave him a new tire.
He didn't give him that tire. The tire was already in the back of his trunk. He just pulled he just pulled it out. That's a problem, and it got him in a world of mess later.
It did,
as you can see. With that, let's stop with that and let's go to Miss Savino and the ADA meeting in the alley.
Yeah.
Real quick.
I got a meeting in the late. Oh,
I got a meeting in the ladies' room. It's coming. I don't know the rest of the words of that song.
I'll be back real soon.
I'll be back real soon. Anyway, so
y'all dating yourself. Look at y'all.
I mean, we're pop culture icons. We're pop culture aficionados.
I know music.
Anyway, so Miss Savino
and the ADA,
who
had all of 8 lines this entire episode.
Yo, but that was a very, very pivotal scene.
It was.
For what so Miss Savino is played by Vanessa Shaw, who's absolutely gorgeous. She was in 3:10 to Yuma. I think I mentioned that in another episode. But she had brown hair and she looked gorgeous again. All natural in a Western.
So she is the informant.
She has to be. Because she knows that Johnny's a ticking time bomb.
Yes.
If this dude offed his fiance.
And so that's what they were talking about.
That's what she was discussing with Katherine, the ADA.
Because the ADA knows
that Rizzo did it.
Exactly.
Okay, she got a hot dose of heroin. For you guys don't know what heroin is, that's the street name for it. The technical name for it is heroin.
The scientific term.
Scientific term. But on the street, I was about to say we call it.
Call it the heroin.
They call it heroin. That's what they call it. So she got a hot dose apparently. And they're saying, oh, she had drug problems in the past. She was a drug addict.
But it wasn't adding up.
But it wasn't adding up.
Yeah.
And the ADA said that. She said, look, this is not adding up. She was at the top of her game. She's a gold-selling artist. She
was selling out shows. People loved her.
She was engaged.
Yeah.
And
just engaged
she
2 weeks
just
ago.
engaged 2 weeks before.
To who?
Johnny Rizzo.
I
mean, Johnny Rizzo, I think it's going to come out later. He's going to find out and say, look, I know you used to hit that back in Cuba. You're lucky I didn't shoot you a hot dose when I found out for not telling me. But there was this other stuff that's going on. I know your nature. I know you wouldn't blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
So he obviously offed her. He had her done.
Well, yeah.
It's not. It hasn't been proven yet.
Oh, my gosh. Bamm, you're defending Johnny, innocent until proven guilty on this situation? Because he's not an innocent man by far, but you're saying in this particular situation, he may not have had that done.
That's exactly what I'm saying, Thaddeus.
Well, okay, well, how about this? It is very possible that after she got rejected by Vincent, she just shot up because he really put her in her place.
He didn't.
Because didn't Vincent find out she was an informant last week? Last episode?
Yes.
So when he checked her about that,
She could have gone back to
she
her
could have spiraled
Heron ways.
Exactly. She could have spiraled, emotionally, and felt like, okay, my marriage is about to be over, my career is about to be over. I need to take the edge off.
I mean, it does seem
Completely.
far-fetched, but yet it does. That's kind of the way that it was set up.
Right.
When she died, it was the last scene, before she died, and we saw her laid out, with the drug. So, but I'm just gonna be different and say there's a possibility that Rizzo did not kill.
Well, here's the thing. Maybe if Rizzo didn't kill her, if he was the one that injected her with it, he could have, coaxed her into it.
That's possible.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's going to be
His hands are dirty.
It's
Let
going
me
to
put it
be
that way.
Vince's wife. I can't remember her name right now. I don't know why I can't remember her name. But it's going to
Mrs.
be
Savino.
– and if you guys want to call and make any comments, if we're forgetting anything, you guys can call us at 424-256-1633.
Tweet us.
That's
Call in.
424-256-1633. Yeah, you can tweet us. You can tweet Nick at the Nick Perdue, Bamm Ericsen at Bamm Ericsen, or myself at Club Thaddeus. Ask us anything while we're shooting, or just call in. But I can't remember Vincent's wife's name, but she is going to have to, whether Johnny did it or not, she's going to have to find a way to prove that Johnny Rizzo did this, because he's an imminent threat and danger to the existence of Vincent in Vegas, especially now that we find out he's a quarter Irish and he'll never be a made man, which we never knew before.
We didn't.
I thought he was a made guy because he was running everything in Vegas.
Yeah.
So now that we find out he's not a made guy,
He's expendable.
he said, you think you're big time because you're out here giving orders to all these ants out here.
Yeah.
That's crazy, because that's really telling him, like, dude, to me, you're nothing but an ant.
You ain't.
Just got real. It's just got real. You know what I'm saying? So when ish gets real, you got to step up. But you know what's funny? It seems like Vincent's wife, in some situations, has bigger cojones than he does, because she steps up and she's like, I'm going to make a boss decision and do something about this. Like, she had to remind him, like, look, no more lies. When she was questioning him about the murder or about the death of Diane Desmond, she asked Vince, did you do it?
Yeah. But see, because, like, she doesn't have the ties that Vincent has.
Yeah, that's my point. Yeah.
So that's why, like, she's a little more free to kind of, be a little more. What's the word I'm looking for? Like, to kind of.
And
you know what I'm saying.
And I think she knows that he's limited to certain things, so she kind of speaks and says things on his behalf.
Yeah.
Right.
Or like things get, known because she, maybe passes along some information.
She's a good wife.
Yeah. She's ride or die.
She found out her husband was having an affair with this broad. And I don't see
maybe
broad to be
she-
disrespectful to ladies out there. I'm saying broad in reference to that character.
And
Because
that-
Diane
and that time.
Desmond was a broad. Okay? So, to clear that up, and you can text me or tweet me at.
No,
Text
can,
you.
You can
No,
text
can't
her if
me.
you
No,
want to
no,
text
no,
him.
You can
316.
text me at 424-256-1633. Just kidding. You can call in there. Anyway, so she's a ride or die for her man.
She is.
This is the kind of women they used to make back in the day. Can we find some women like that?
Hold on, time out. Can we turn on the air conditioner really quick? Because I'm burning up. It's way too hot.
It is hot.
Yeah.
Thank you, because I'm like
Marissa
boiling.
Serafini,
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is
Thank
producer
you.
extraordinaire. She's the bomb. She's got everything on lock.
Okay.
So-
Go ahead. Continue.
So, Vanessa Shaw's character, Miss Savino, she is going to find a way to make this happen.
Yeah.
She's going to be the heroine, no pun intended, to save her husband. She's a pivotal and very instrumental tool for him, even though he's not really using her, because he cares more about protecting her and not having her involved. Because sometimes you really don't know should I tell her? What should I not? So I'm just not gonna tell her anything because she doesn't need to be involved in this. I want to protect her from being involved with anything.
Two things, really, really quick. I think she may go above and beyond the call, and even if she has to plan something to make it stick, she'll do it.
That's what I was saying. She's gonna have to prove Johnny Rizzo committed this murder. She's gonna.
Yeah,
it's up to her to do it. She's gonna make Johnny Rizzo commit that murder.
Second thing is, just kind of piggyback on what you're saying, Thaddeus, is that I think that Vincent uses her as a crutch and not as an asset. And once he really starts, like we were saying, once he really starts kind of using her as an asset and kind of sees what she can do, and I think with this whole Rizzo thing, it may open his eyes and it may show him like, yo, she could be like, this is what I can do.
Right.
And I'm your woman, I'm your wife, this is a team effort, no lies, no secrets, put it all out there on the table. I'm an asset. I'm here to stand behind you. I got your back 110% with whatever.
Now, with her making moves like sliding out into an alley to meet the ADA, it's not like people rolling around in SUVs with tinted windows and stuff like that. Like, she's going to have to really be careful about where she goes and how she is seen out in public because she's making very, very dangerous covert moves, especially with this situation. I mean, what is she doing? First of all, having lunch. Of course, at that time, she didn't even know that Katherine was the ADA.
Yeah.
She found out later. And now to be meeting in such a place where...
But I mean, well, here's the thing, because I think with that they wanted to let you know that they're meeting and they're meeting in secret. I don't think, because I know where your head is right now. So like people saw her like walk into the alley. I don't think that the way that they had or that they shot it or the way that they're shooting that was saying that like. It's out in the open. Like,
right.
I think they're limited to, their capabilities or whatever, or however they shot it. So, but they just wanted, because that scene was pivotal, so I just added extra syllable in there.
Pivotal.
Yeah. So,
pivotal.
So, so I don't think that was a dangerous move, in a sense. Now, if
she
they
just has
went,
to be careful, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, but like if they went back out to lunch now, then I could see that road, that could be dangerous on where she's going.
Well, what I'm saying is, I think it's better to do it out in the public, like
as opposed to doing it behind closed doors.
Because when you do something purposefully in secret, it looks like you're. Like, what are you hiding? What's going on? As opposed to, she's just having lunch. She's doing the political thing by keeping us in good relations with the city and the officials in the city, whatever, blah, blah, blah. They have lunch every so often as ladies to chop it up, as opposed to meeting somewhere where they have to go.
Like Basketball Wives.
Okay, I don't know what that's in reference to because there weren't any Basketball Wives of this caliber in 1960. Not even close. At least... let's hope not. So, Katherine, the ADA, did you want to go something, Bamm?
No, go ahead.
Okay, so continuing off of this, she takes the information and has lunch or meets at Starbucks or whatever with Starbucks. There's no Starbucks in 1960. I was going to see if you guys caught that, but anyway.
Her DA.
Her DA, who's the crook. This guy is the criminal. I'm thinking they should have written this guy off the show already, let this guy get killed off or something.
They can't
but
him off.
As long as they keep Katherine around and make her, she can't be pivotal without having that obstacle to overcome for herself and not knowing that this guy is the DA is dirty.
Yeah.
So
that's her personal antagonist.
Right. So what do you think now that he has this information? What do you think the DA is going to do?
Right now, I think he's gonna keep it in his pocket, and then he'll, relay the information when it's necessary.
He hasn't been a real instrumental part of the show so far.
Exactly. So I don't think it's gonna change a lot. But like he'll have it in his pocket, and if something's gonna happen to where he's gonna like Rizzo, like, listen, dude, like this is what's going on. This is all the information that they have. This is what they're trying to pin on you. Like watch your ass.
Right.
Like that's what I think is going to happen with that situation.
it would have been interesting to see the writers build some sort of love triangle between Jack, Sarah, and this guy. Because remember before they went on their first date and he was going to go ask her out, the DA had already asked Mia out and was taking her to see Vegas or see the city.
I mean,
that would have been. That would have been.
So
there's still a possibility for that.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. He's already sealed the deal.
Well, yeah.
So they have enough to deal with.
Yeah,
now she's developing emotions for the guy. She's kind of seeing him, and she has to deal with the fact that if I'm going to let myself like this guy, really like him or fall in love with him, how am I going to do it? There's too much stuff going on. Too much now for the DA to come in and to really be a So, but, you know, maybe they're building it so this guy can get whacked or something.
So,
which will suck for the actor.
Speaking of almost being whacked or being whacked, Banker Justice.
Banker Justice.
Right?
Yes.
So, you got your boy Rizzo.
Yes.
You got your boy Savino.
Yes.
They're going over to the banker's house to meet with the board of directors, the board of trustees, or the board of directors.
The banker.
Yeah.
He's the head of the bank.
Yeah.
You're right. He invited them over. I think he invited Vincent.
Yeah.
Over. And he was and he went over
with the Rizzo. And so when they get there, they get cornered, basically.
Right.
And these boys, these are the good old boys. Like the way they kind of shook his hand, it was almost cavalry.
He said we're here to meet the board of trustees.
Yeah.
He said we're the board of trustees. We're the board of trustees. And these guys
in
are sitting
jeans
here with
and flannel.
These guys are sitting here with shotguns and flannel and overalls,
a horse,
pitchforks. You know, like a town riot.
Dude. I was like, you know, and so it was a little awkward, and then cut back. Now they're in this barn,
right?
You know, roped up, and they've been roughed up a little bit because you can see the markings on their faces.
Which I have to tell the makeup department, you guys gotta tighten that up. The makeup, the blood was a little
stale.
The blood was a little all over the place for me. Anyway,
you heard it first from
makeup department.
Thaddeus.
You guys have done great jobs otherwise, though. But just on the particular blood part.
But what happened? But what was pivotal in that scene is Savino had to relinquish his rights to Tumbleweed in order to stay alive.
Right.
And you could see the beads of sweat, you could see the beads of
Johnny.
Yeah, he was
angry.
He was
boiling.
Fury in his eyes
Yeah.
as this deal was being offered.
And he was really pissed about it.
And he offered his services.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On top to boot. He offered his services to boot. But that was smart because he can always relinquish power that way.
Yeah, because they said, you know,
there's always the
we don't
skim.
know, you know, we don't know anything about running the casino.
Yeah.
And he was like, don't worry about it. I'll give it to you, but I'll run it.
Yeah.
And so again, that happens, and Rizzo's pissed, and so then when the two of them are let go, you know, they have this conversation that I thought was interesting when they got into it.
Tell us about it, Bamm.
I'm going to tell you about it in just a second.
It was a very interesting conversation because it showed you what they're both made of for the most part. It actually, part of it actually made me like Johnny Rizzo more to a certain degree.
You're a Rizzo fan now?
No, not a fan. I can appreciate what I can appreciate is Rizzo's perspective on this particular situation. Go ahead, man.
You know, he was pissed that he gave up Tumbleweed, and Savino started trying to throw his weight around. He was like, no, this is mine, and he was like, no, this is not yours. And then talks about how he's a quarter Irish, and how you're expendable. And he says the only way that he's like, this is my town. The only way that I'm leaving this town is in a dead body bag, or is in a body bag.
Right. And he was ready to do it then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that to me showed the code in which it's like, look, we're out here working for the family, which is the Mom family, the Chicago. It's like, okay, if you worked your whole life to build an inheritance or build an empire for your kids, and then next thing you know, you get kidnapped, you're not gonna relinquish it just so you can live. You're gonna be like, well, if you off me, then it's just gonna go to my kids.
Yeah.
It's just gonna go to my kids. It's just there you go. They're gonna own it.
Yeah.
But if I give it up to you, I'm walking around with nothing, and my kids have nothing. And that's the perspective that Rizzo was coming from that I can appreciate. It was like, look, the only way I'm leaving out of here is in a body bag, because I'm not giving up anything.
Yeah.
And we're taking everything that we can get.
I think there's one other thing that we need to talk about with Jack is when he is when me and Jack got the money that he got the gambler's money of $100,000.
Yeah, so
you know, Jack
gambler,
actually took the $130,000 and then he left to go return it, and then that's how he got himself in trouble because the gambler then went after him, and then that's how Jack was found.
Ralph.
Yes, Ralph. That's how Ralph was, you know, put into this. This is how this whole thing came about, of how they were going, how they were flashing back.
Over the head.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ralph got hit over the head and got put in a ditch. But good thing, like I said earlier, good thing
Jack was playing poker.
Got that tidbit of information from Hal Watley about the ranch that his family owned or whatever, blah, blah, blah.
Paradise Valley, somewhere there, right?
Something like that.
Paradise Falls or something.
Something like that.
Yeah.
So that really is the information that he used to save Ralph's life.
Save his brother, yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of brothers, the other two brothers that were in the show.
Yes, we didn't really talk about that.
Real brief. You know, kind of like real early in the episode, one of the officers, or one of the sheriff's deputies was out on a call and then didn't show up. So Jack and Ralph, they go to this bar. I believe it was a bar or a theater or something, right? So they went to the bar to investigate, and they find these two brothers, right, holding the owner of the establishment and the sheriff and the deputy, hostage, right? So they let the deputy go with the bop on the head, and then they take the owner as kind of like what collateral for their getaway, for their safe getaway.
Right.
But they burn him.
Yeah, they douse him in flammable liquids.
Yeah, and alcohol.
And torch him.
And light him on fire.
Which was like, wow. I guess he was thinking that'll buy us some time.
They were.
That's what he was thinking. He's like, they gotta put the fire out on this guy. Give us a chance to get away. Which was a horrible way to buy yourself some time.
Yeah, well, because then like the one kid had a limp.
Right. The younger brother.
And so, and because like the main reason why they were doing this was basically to avenge their father's death based off of his gambling addiction, because they were at
as well.
and his alcohol. That's what they were at the sports book.
Yeah.
That's what it was. Yeah, so they were at the sports book because the father had a gambling addiction, and then he had alcohol problems. So he would go to the bar. So they roughed up the bartender the next day, and then the following day, which was that Monday, which happened to be the 15th, they went to the.
They went somewhere else when they got caught.
Where they worked the, not the steel mill, but where
the dad used to work.
Where the dad used to work.
Right.
Yeah, and that's where they.
And that's where the brothers got capped by Ralph, and the younger brother's still out there, right?
He got away.
He got away.
Yeah.
So he promised vengeance on Ralph, and that's going to be interesting to see if this kid
if he comes back,
if he comes back, which I think is cool, because that's a pretty motivational thing. Now his dad is gone and his brother is dead.
Yeah.
So this is a good kid turned bad, and he's handicapped. I mean, it's not even funny to me. This dude is pissed off.
He is.
This dude is angry.
Yeah.
So I wasn't even feeling like
him and his orthopedic shit.
I wasn't even feeling. That's so wrong. Again, that's at Nick Perdue. So let's go into news and gossip really quickly.
AfterBuzz TV News.
Do we have any news and gossip, Bamm?
No.
Bamm Malicious for this week. I believe the show is still number one in its time slot. Vegas on Tuesdays, CBS at 11 p.m. It's doing great. It's
10 p.m.
Doing great numbers.
Yeah.
We could talk about his new movie.
Dennis Quaid.
Dennis Quaid's new movie with
Gerard Butler.
Gerard Butler and not Laura Prepon. I'm thinking Jessica Biel.
Jessica Biel.
And the movie is, I totally forgot the name of it right now, but I saw the previews. It looks great.
It looks like a romantic comedy.
When does it come out?
I believe either Friday or next week.
I've seen the billboard all over.
You're right. I've seen it too, but I can't recall what it is. So, you know.
Bing it.
You know, TV star, movie star.
Yeah, well, because he's still essentially a movie star.
Yeah, he really is.
You know, and so I don't think he'll ever lose that or ever relinquish his movie stardom.
No, he definitely won't.
Yeah.
But you know, his TV gig is he's bringing his movie,
right?
Bringing the movies to the TV screen.
You know, really quickly, I just saw Michael Chiklis on the campaign. I just got the campaign. Michael Chiklis was in some movie he did with Burt Reynolds. When he was younger, he still had hair on his head.
Older.
He was a lot younger, and Burt Reynolds knocked some guy out, and Michael Chiklis was standing there in a suit and tie. I guess Burt Reynolds was telling him something, teaching him something or whatever. But it was when Zach Galifianakis' character, Dermot, I think it's Dermot.
Dermot.
I can't think of his last name.
With an M. Yeah.
Yeah, Mulroney or something like that. He was teaching him how to be a man. So he was watching this scene with Burt Reynolds. He was telling him to talk like Burt Reynolds. But Michael Chiklis was in the scene of that movie. I didn't find out what the movie is. I'll let you guys know next week what that was. That's pretty much all the news and gossip we have for this week. Let's go to predictions.
And now, your AFTERBUZZ TV predictions.
Predictions look like the show is taking it up another level for next week after we saw what's to come. Predictions for next week, episode 12. Nick, go.
Well, the women are definitely gonna do their thing as we saw in the previews. So my predictions is that I feel that the women may start shooting some people because I saw a gun with fingernail polish on it. So.
Okay.
That's my prediction.
Okay. Predictions for week 12. Bam, go.
2 predictions. So we saw that that Jack Lamb confesses his love of Mia to Rizzo.
Yeah.
So Rizzo obviously is not going to be happy about that. So
that's huge.
I'm dying to see how he's going to respond to that.
Yeah.
And then at tonight's end of the episode, we saw how the ADA came to the hospital, and they kind of had a moment because earlier she had offered him to go have beer because she didn't want to go to the bar alone, and so Ralph was basically going to do it, but then of course he got into a situation, and so he says that he's going to take her up on the offer once he gets out the hospital. And so they kind of had this little moment where they were looking at each other, and then Dixon was overlooking in the window, and then he kind of caught like, oh, my daddy is having a moment, and so he goes and leaves. So now we're starting to see more of the women take a pivotal role, and so I don't think they're going to knock boots as quick as Mia and I said knock boots. I don't think they're
gotta be knocking the boots.
I don't think their relationship is gonna go as fast as his brothers, but we're finally moving. They're moving faster, so I'm happy about that.
Okay. Well, my prediction for next week is that I believe the DA is going to come and actually throw some of the information that he got as far as this investigation is concerned. Plus, they showed a potential love affair, an old flame that they said for Savino coming into the mix. So this is going to throw a wrench in, I believe, Mrs. Savino's plans to do what she's doing. That has to come out in some form or fashion or another. Otherwise, it won't be a good story. It has to play a part some kind of way. Anyway, thank you guys for joining us this evening, afternoon, or morning. I'm Thaddeus, your host. You can find me at Club Thaddeus on Twitter. Nicholas, tell them where they can find you.
You can find me all over the internet at the Nick Perdue.
Literally, you can find him everywhere.
Bam, where can they find you?
I wish I had the following that he had. You can follow me on Twitter at Bamm Ericsen. That's BAMMERICSCN.
You can also find me and Bam on Deception Tuesdays, 6 p.m. Catch it. It's for NBC. See you guys next week.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV Network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AFTERBUZZTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AFTERBUZZ TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.